What's going on, everybody? It's Halfway Nuts. In this video, I'm going to tear apart an Xbox controller. Because, try and stop me, I dare you. Alright, we gotta get serious for a second. This could turn into a hot mess very, very fast, because I haven't disassembled a controller in like 18 years. The last time I tore apart a controller, it was a PlayStation 1 controller. So I guess that gives away how old I am. In any case, let's talk about this controller right here. This is an Xbox Series controller, obviously. I bought this on release day. So I used it on my Xbox One S for two and a half years almost, before I finally broke down and got an Xbox Series S. Well, what comes in the box with an Xbox Series S is a controller. So we are going to tear this one apart and try to put the Nintendo Entertainment System eXtremeRate parts kit on it. It's basically a shell replacer. It's going to replace all the white parts on this controller. It's going to replace all the face buttons, the face plate, the back plate, the grips, the triggers, and the bumpers. So this controller is going to look nothing like this when it's done. So we're going to go from this to this. The entire shell, the thumbsticks, and all the face buttons except the Xbox button, all replaced with NES, Nintendo Entertainment System style parts. And I gotta say, it looks absolutely incredible. And now it's time for me to show you how I did it. This part's going to take a while, but if you really need the nitty-gritty details about how I got this done, stay tuned because I'm going to lay it all out for you. Alright, here's the eXtremeRate parts kit. I picked this up on Amazon for about $25. And with it, I also picked up a controller disassembly kit. So I will crack this open if I need to, but there should be disassembly tools in the box. So let's go ahead and open it up. And here we have the controller shell. This is the faceplate and the back plate, as well as the grips. And also in the box, we have, looks like the face buttons. We have the thumbsticks. I'm surprised that they included replacement thumbsticks in there. That's interesting. This looks like the rest of the face buttons, as well as the bumpers and triggers, so we have that. And yes, we do have a couple of disassembly tools right here. And this appears to be just a warranty card with some information that says, "Thank you for choosing eXtremeRate." So that is all that we have in the box. Alright, let's tear the skin off of this thing. Now here is the bag of tools. I already partially opened it. And one of the things you'll notice is that there's a bunch of loose screws in there of varying sizes. So I think I'm going to take this bin right here and have it close by. That way all these loose parts don't get away from me. At least that's the general idea. Alright, the first thing I need is this wedge right here. I'm going to use this to take the grip panels off of the controller. This is an unused controller. When I got my Xbox Series S, I took it out of the box and threw it in a drawer because I already had a controller. So I'm sure it's going to be interesting trying to take the grip panels off, because those I hear are fastened down with, I don't know, Loctite, adhesive, something like that. So this should be interesting. There, I think I finally got it. Okay, let's try to rip this thing apart. Here we go. There we go. That sounds like there's some movement there. See if I can pull the rest of it off with my bare hands. Fastened it back down again. All right, let's try that again. There we go. Come on. There. That is not as easy as it looks. Holy Christ. All right, let's try to do that with the other side. Off comes the battery cover. Next thing I gotta do is take this sticker off right here. Now, if you take this off, it's gonna void your warranty, but if you're screwing around with an Xbox controller like this, it's gonna void your warranty anyway, so it's whatever. Next thing I need is the T8H screwdriver. This is the larger of the two that came in the box. And I need to remove screws from right here and right here on either side, as well as this one right here in the center. It is worth noting that these screws are tight, so this controller is really bolted together pretty tight, tighter than you think. Damn, this one is tight. Oops. This one's got to be the tightest so far. This one is nuts. Finally. So full disclosure, as I'm doing this, I'm stopping the video to watch the eXtremeRate YouTube disassembly video. So I'm kind of doing this as I play along with how they show you to do it. Apparently what comes next is the back plate and the face plate just come apart, and it's just the inside components. Alright, I guess the next step is the thumbsticks come off. And those slid right off with no trouble at all. Okay, next the bumper's got to come off. Now, watching their video, this looked kind of finicky, so I'm going to do this on camera the best I can. Okay, so these bumpers are held on either side at these points right here. So I think they're just kind of compression fit on. On the eXtremeRate video, they just rip them off. I'm kind of afraid to really manhandle this thing in the state that it's in, but let me screw with it and see if I can get these off. Okay, I'm gonna try to pry this out because I think this is part of it right here. Okay, I think I figured it out. I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's a pin right here that holds the bumper into place right there. And so it was fastened together and I had to wedge it out. So if you just yank this straight out, you're gonna break stuff. So do be careful. Do not try to yank these triggers off. These are still fastened down by screws. If you just try to yank these off, you're gonna break shit. Next is these two screws right here, using a T6 right there and right there. I'm going to take those out. So looking at this controller, it looks like it has a two-piece main board, which is retarded. I mean, come on, it's 2023. You couldn't have put this all into one piece? I don't know. In any case, the next is this main board is apparently supposed to just be pried loose, and that's the next step. So let me try and do that. I apologize that it keeps going out of focus. This is the best I can do. But here it is. It actually wasn't that hard to just pry this thing up. So here we have the loose two-piece main board. Next up, apparently the headphone jack has to come out. And that fell out probably easier than it should have, but there it is. Alright, so I currently have my thumb in between the two pieces of the main board to kind of keep them from scratching against each other. I'm not sure if that is really necessary, but I'm doing it. Next thing I need is to get screws out that are right here on either side. And these are more T6s. So we got screws for days that we're taking out of this thing. Couple more screws right here, and these are T6s. Alright, this part makes me nervous. The next thing I have to do is remove these two wires right here. And apparently you remove them by just lifting them straight up and off. If I'm gonna break this fucking thing, this is where I'm gonna do it. I had to get that one off with my fingernail off camera, but good news is they're off, for whatever that's worth. The reason I have to loosen the main board is because there are screws in here. I'm not sure if I can get this on camera, but there's one right there, and then one way down here. So I'm going to take those off. This main board is driving me crazy. I really feel like I'm gonna break this damn thing. But here we go. Taking the second screw out. I did drop a button. I think this is the controller sync button. Okay, I still have my thumb wedged in between these two pieces of the main board. Apparently this part of the main board just comes right out, slides right out, so I'm going to very carefully try to remove it. Next thing I got to do is take out this piece right here. This is the membrane surface that provides resistance when you press the buttons. So it's just this rubbery piece that I'm going to carefully try to take out right now. Now, if I were to turn this upside down, every single button would come flying out. So the next part is I need to very carefully remove the old buttons and replace it with the new buttons. So it does look like they have red and black face buttons, so you can kind of pick your poison, I guess. I'm not seeing a replacement for the Xbox button, so I think that gets reused. Knowing my luck, I'll take all these out and replace the new ones, and then after I get it completely back together, I'm going to realize one of them's in there upside down. Oh, I'd be so pissed. Alright, here comes the fun part, putting all this crap back together. The membrane piece needs to go back in, so I'm going to try to fit that in right now. And now this part of the main board has to go back in. Yay, now I gotta put all those damn screws back in. And this time I'm using the screws that came with the kit. I'm not using the OEM screws. The A button wasn't quite seated properly, so I gotta take this back off and reseat it. I wondered why it felt like things weren't fitting into place right. I'm just using the OEM screws. I'm not gonna mess around with the ones that eXtremeRate sent me. I don't know why they send you extra screws anyway. And then I forgot to put the new sync button back in. Jesus Christ. Well, rewind again. This might be hard to see, but the sync button actually fits right in here. There's a little sleeve that it slides into. Some of these screws feel tighter going in than they did coming out. That's what she said. And the headphone jack. Don't forget the headphone jack. So this main board literally just kind of snaps into place. The reason I know that is because if you look inside, you might not be able to see it, but there's actually like a connector in there, almost like a micro HDMI looking thing. I'm not a controller expert. I just know that it clamps in and presumably connects one piece of the main board to the other. Next thing I gotta do is put these two connectors back that scare the hell out of me. These things do have a tactile snap once you get them into place. I had to snap them down off camera in order to be able to see it properly, but it actually wasn't that hard. I've got screws tonight. Okay, only now do they tell you to take the triggers off. That's weird, but in any case, here they are. On either side, they are screwed in with a T6, so I'm going to go ahead and take those off. It should be just take the screw out, take the trigger off, put it back on, screw it back down. Okay, I'm only going to show this on one side, but there's actually kind of a right and wrong way to take this off and put it back on. You see this tab right here? You actually want to carefully take it off from the opposite side. At least that's what I found was the best way to do it. And then take the new part, in this case the trigger, and hook it into this tab right here. If I have to screw this controller one more time, I swear to God. Oh, missed a screw. Rewind. So I guess next is the part where the new bumpers go on. Let me see if I can get this on there without any trouble. So this actually goes on the best if the triggers are depressed. So if you're having trouble getting the bumpers back on, try holding the triggers down while you do it. Then the centerpiece goes on. That was a loud tactile snap. For some reason, this bumper is sticky. So I can press it down and it doesn't come back up unless I press this trigger and then it releases the bumper. So it's catching somewhere. I'm gonna have to fix that at some point. Next thing, this metal disc has to come off so I can take the directional button off. Works best if you use the pry tool. That went flying. Okay, so there's a right and a wrong way to do this. You want to make sure that the part that's sticking out of the directional pad that is the shortest of the four, that would be this side right here, goes into the controller face down. Hopefully this is easier to put on than it was to take off. Okay, time for the thumbsticks to go on. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could put swappables on here. I mean, as long as you got the controller apart anyway, but I didn't think about that before I bought this, so... But either way, I got a controller coming in the mail that's got swappables anyway. And then the faceplate goes on. I really wish they'd have gave you a blacked out Xbox button, but unfortunately that did not come in the box. Alright, here's another fun part that I can't wait to deal with. Now the battery connectors have to come out of the original back shell. So let's see if I can get those out. They're held into place by these little pins right here, so it probably helps to use the pry tool for this. Press the battery connectors in and push up. This is really hard to do on camera. Oh, God, finally. Alright, now the battery piece has to go into the back of the eXtremeRate backplate, which actually is not the same color as the original. This is more of a Nintendo gray color. That part was easy. Alright, let's put the new backplate on and screw it down. Nope, rewind, forgot screws. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Getting this backplate back onto the controller has been the single hardest part of this thing. This is pissing me off. Okay, I'm not sure why, but this took an insane amount of finagling. I don't know if it's just the fact that the backplate might not be perfectly shaped, but holy crap, that took forever. I'll have a screw over here, and a screw over there. I swear to God, if I played the Powerball every time I forgot to put a screw in, I'd have to win at some point. Okay, I think I finally got all the screws now. Oh yeah, you should probably make sure the battery terminals are exposed when you put the backplate on. Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. For some reason, these are way harder to screw in than they were to take out. Interestingly, I don't have stuck bumpers anymore. It might just be something about how the dynamic tension of the controller being fully assembled makes it to where the triggers aren't bumping up against the bumpers. And there you have it. We are done. You know something? This wasn't insanely hard. You just need to know where to put elbow grease in and where to be really careful handling fragile parts. I did do a function check. Thumbsticks work, directional buttons work, center buttons work, face buttons work. The Xbox button works, God help me, because I hate it. I really wish they would have gave me a blacked out one, but I'll find one somewhere. Triggers work, I'm not getting stuck bumpers anymore. The sync button works, everything works right out of the box. Well, as if it were right out of the box. But this is so cool looking. You know, when I grew up, NES and Super NES were the things that everybody was playing. PlayStation 1 hadn't come out yet, And so this is what you had. This and like Sega and Nintendo 64, that sort of thing. So this really brings back some memories for me, and I cannot wait to get this in my game room and use it a lot. So that's it. I hope everybody enjoyed the video and got some information out of it. I know the eXtremeRate video does a lot for you, but I hope I filled in some of the gaps where people found it difficult. That's it. That's the video for today. Questions, comments, put them in the comments section of the video. Otherwise, this is Halfway Nuts telling you, don't go nuts. That's my job. I'll catch you later.